image, it is being sent to the occipital lobe. The occipital lobe does not understand what the image means. So it should send the image to the primary occipital associative area. So the primary area, the occipital area, it takes the image and it converts it into a meaning. So now Charlotte knows who I am, the teacher. Then Charlotte is hearing me saying something about the human eye, all right? So this is captured by the outer, middle, and the inner ear and sent by the auditory nerve to the temporal lobe. So the temporal lobe gets like the stimulus as a stimulus, a change in the air movement intensity, but it doesn't understand the meaning. Who is talking? The teacher, Charlotte, or anyone else? So then it will send it to the temporal primary associative area, which will translate it into a meaning. So now Charlotte, she knows who is standing in front of her and what the person is saying, the meaning of it. Then you need to figure out if that makes sense. So you are like moving your eyelids, you are taking notes, and these are voluntary actions. But the movement of your eye pupil, so you're looking at me, you are moving your eye pupils, and also you are taking notes. And this is like handled by the frontal lobe. So the frontal lobe, it makes you like do all of these actions, but on the other side, you understand when you take your pen, when you grab your pen and you write down something, you know that you are writing, but you wouldn't know if you were writing without the frontal primary associative area. So that provides a meaning. You are moving your pupils because you want to adjust the image, my image in your retina, but on the other side, you are taking notes, and you know that when you write and take notes, you know the reason for it. When you are touching the pen or the pencil, there is a change in the pressure, all right? So this change in the pressure, it's detected by the parietal lobe. So these endings of the receptors at the tip of your fingers, they, through the sensory nerve cells, send this change in the pressure to the parietal lobe. So the parietal lobe doesn't understand when you grab a pen and hold it, that's a pen, that's a stone, that's a phone, that's a book, or whatever. It doesn't understand. But when it sends the stimulus to the parietal primary associative area, then it translates it into a meaning. Now, you know that what you're grabbing and holding in your hands, it's a pen. And on the other side, you have a notebook. You know that when you look at me, you know that I am the image which represents the teacher. When you hear me, you know that my voice is like a collection of words which have a meaning translated in your brain. And then your movement of the hands and either movement of the head. For example, I told you, hey, Charlotte, stand up, go to the door, or at the entrance of the room, stay there, and then walk towards the screen of your phone and see where you will see this plus and the dot as one overlapped. And you did that. So you followed my instructions. So you wouldn't understand my instructions unless you activated the frontal area, and the frontal area made you like translate it into a meaning. Now, the point is, you do not need to understand the image as a separate action. So looking at me without understanding the reason why, or hearing me without understanding the reason why, or grabbing your notebook and pen without understanding what you are holding in your hands, or moving your hands and writing the notes without understanding why you should do that. So all of these stimuli, which are translated into a meaning from the primary frontal, the primary parietal, primary occipital, and primary temporal, are sent to the general interpretation area. And the general interpretation area, it provides a holistic meaning. Now you know that the image you have in front of saying something, making you do something and react, is the teacher and Charlotte interacting. So this is how the human brain works. Today we went over only the occipital lobe and the role it covers, which is the visual process. But the next time we will be dealing with hearing, and then we have the taste and the smell. So there are like other things that we should add up to the topic. So how did you find the lesson, Charlotte? Hard, average, or easy?
It was average, but there were some parts that were kind of hard.
Okay, so which one were these parts that you did not catch that well?
Um, Things
Mm-hmm.
about the retina.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the photoreceptors. All right,
Yeah.
Charlotte. There are so many things you need to remember about the retina. That's why I prepared two different PowerPoints, and I'm gonna merge them in one while sending you the work. So you have the amacrine, the bipolar, the ganglional, the photoreceptor cells. So these are the 5 types of. So you need to know that the ones which perceive the colors are the photoreceptors. And we mentioned the rod and the cones. What do the rods perceive? Black and white. What do the cones perceive? All the colors. So the reason why we say that the dogs do not see in colors is exactly because they have only rods. Their brain has been examined and researched, and it has been found that they have only rods, and we know that the